Okay. Just want to welcome you to our marketing roundtable today. Sally and I were talking, and she was telling me some of the things that she was doing in another group. And I thought, wow, I think this would be really beneficial for our organization. And she sent me this document called 32 Powerful Ways to Grow a Business Fast. It's based on this foundation that there are 4 major strategies in marketing, but each strategy has its own technique. Those techniques vary. And because we're now in the time of, I like to say we're in the time of marketing and the time of COVID, we wanted to discuss some different ways in which you can reach your customers, especially during the holiday season. This is a holiday season unlike any that we've ever seen before. However, we cannot stop marketing. If anything, our marketing game has to change, and we have to up the ante a little bit. And so we've brought in 4 different experts in their field. We have Sally Brush with us today, and Sally is the owner and operator of Custom Plus Promotional Products. And we have Elizabeth Hankins, and she's here, and she is an expert in Google ads. We have Jim Stevenson from the Spinal Column, obviously print ads and some additional advertising, online advertising. And then we also have Tammy Flowers, who you may or may not know is an expert in Facebook. She has a very successful group called, little group of about 10,000 people called Highland Matters that has made quite a difference in the way we communicate here in Highland. So what I'm going to suggest that you do is keep yourself muted until it's time for you to speak. I am going to, we're going to talk about the 4 different strategies, and then I'm going to suggest that you put your view on speaker view. I think that will be easier for you to kind of pay attention. I know that sounds funny, to pay attention, but also to kind of focus on what we're talking about. So let me tell you about the 4 strategies. I will tell you this is nothing new. You've heard all of these before. The strategy doesn't change, the technique does. So our 4 strategies are: get more customers or clients. Yeah, okay, we know we need to do that, right? The how is that technique. We also have get your customers and clients to buy more frequently. That makes sense too, right? If you don't have to go out and acquire new clients, it is dramatically cheaper to just maintain your existing client base. Number 3, get your customers and clients to spend more money per transaction. Yeah, no brainer, right? If we can increase the volume of our sales without having to actually increase the number of clients we have, it's a no-brainer. Of course, we're going to do that. And then lastly, we want to keep our customers longer. There are some crazy numbers out there about how much it takes to acquire a new customer versus just maintaining your current customer base. So let's start with our first strategy, get more customers and clients. And I'm going to have Sally, Elizabeth, Jim, Tammy, go ahead and jump in. If you have a technique for that particular strategy, we want to hear it.
I'll go ahead and jump in. So getting more clients, yeah, like Amy said, it's a no-brainer. It's something that we all should be doing and striving for as business owners, to constantly target new individuals that would come on board and buy our service or product. One solution that is good is what I do is the Google advertising or any type of digital advertising. Especially in today's world with the pandemic, everybody is on their phone, everybody's on their computers, and that's how they're doing business, that's how they're doing work, that's how they're doing school, and it's a great space to do advertising or to get your product or service out there. And Google Ads will help you if somebody is searching for your business. So Google Ads is taking your service and product and matching it up with somebody who's searching for that service or product. and putting yourself in front of that targeted audience. So that's one solution to getting new clients, somebody that's never heard of you before or knows your business but wants your service or product. They're going to take to Google. They're going to search for that particular business, service, or product, and you would want your business or service to be in front of that person when they're searching it.
And yeah, I would add that, now is a time when people are really searching online right now, because they're not out in the malls or, doing as much physical shopping as they used to. So, yeah, this is going to be one of my bigger topics out of these four, because Highland Matters can be a great tool. I know it's, social media has its little crazy parts, and you just have to sort of work around those. But, people are out there every day saying, who can I call for this? Or who can where should I go for this? Because there are those items that, it's hard to think of. And people are sharing their favorite businesses on a regular basis. And I know that sometimes businesses feel like, well, I don't have time to be on Highland Matters or other groups all day long, watching for those posts. So this is where your customers are going to come in. You have customers that you have created that are fans of your business because of the great service that you've provided and your passion for providing that service or product in a way that's a good customer experience. And those people are going to be the ones responding to these questions. So make it easy for them. You can have a Facebook page with all your contact info and make it easy for people to share your information. You want to have complete posts. Every time you share a picture or something, you want to make sure that, it's super easy for people to look at that and figure out, how do I pursue this service? That's what the number one thing I see is that people, will share something and not think about the fact that, well, it's going to be viewed on a phone and maybe I need to type this out instead of just speaking it or, providing it in a photo too. So really complete posts and, maybe encourage those customers that you have that are fans to help you out with sharing information. And I think there's ways to ask for people to help you to do that.
Yeah, I just want to jump in there and say, Tammy's right. Make it easier for your potential new clients. Any way you can do that, and make something clickable or make something that's a direct link to your website without them having to jump through hoops or a well-designed website is a well-designed converting website. So if your website has all the information that a potential new customer is looking for, and it's easier for that person to digest, you're gonna get more clients better, or more leads a lot better that way. So making it easier for the client or for the lead or for whomever your targeted audience is the best way to get new clients.
I'd like to jump in there a little bit. One of the issues, if you're a small business, is to make sure you're expanding your audience. And you can have, and I'll use Highland Matters as an example. Even though it has 9,000, I think, plus or 10,000 users, not everybody is on Highland Matters on a day-to-day basis. And what social media does is social media pushes out information to people when they're looking for something, when they're searching for something. And at Spinal Column, with our companies, Spinal Column News Weekly and Lakefront Magazine, we have what we offer is a package of Facebooks and our print products. And why we do that and why we have found that effective is because giving a reader an exposure to businesses before they're asking. And we create a need or a call to action for, and I'll just use Clothing Cove as an example. They drive business from our ads because these are people that weren't thinking about something until they saw it in print. Now we have somebody that creates websites, and you'd be surprised how many people or how many small businesses don't have websites or have crappy websites or don't have anybody to manage that for them. And you are exactly right. Your comment about a website and all of the back end keywords and all those types of things that helps drive somebody's availability when somebody is searching. If those things aren't right and done correctly, they're like spinning their wheels. One example would be 5-Star Ace Hardware. Lori Woods was frustrated because of her Facebook. She didn't have time to manage it. Finding the content was a struggle. And so now we manage that for her, and she's ecstatic that she's getting interaction. So Facebook is important, but merging it with other larger audiences. We have a huge Facebook audience, and we have 137,000 people that engage with us at one time or another. So I think that my whole point is it's important to engage with other audiences and find partnerships with people to expand that audience.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to jump in and I'm going to go really old school right now. So I want to chat about relationship marketing. You know, I've said this to multiple people over the years. I don't want to do business with the frat boys who want t-shirts at 3 a.m. So my website, my Facebook are not designed to be far-reaching and grab, and, you know, I'm not for imprint. But I will say that as I look at the screen, every single one of you has helped me. And that's because of the relationship that I have with all of you. You've not only used my services, but you've referred me to other people. And once that's a nice, warm referral for us, now we have something. It's not that, you know, it's not that I don't like people saying on Highland Matters, yeah, you need to get t-shirts from Sally. But how often does that actually translate to my bottom line? Because they're getting about 8 different people saying, I want. And could I buy Google Ads? I probably could, but I'm never going to be above 4imprint. I'm never going to be above some of the big players. So I've really learned to rely on my local network. The HWLBA has been a great organization for me. Referral groups that I'm in, and just really forming those relationships where somebody feels like they want to help you. They want to go out of their way to recommend you to someone else. Now it's warm, and when those people call, they're like, hey, I heard really good things about you.
Thanks, Sally, for the plug. Okay, so we've talked about digital advertising. We've talked about social media's play in customers. Jim talked about the fact that if you're only relying on social media, you may not get the reach that you're looking for. You might need to look for a broader audience. But then based on your marketing, based on your business, Sally's saying, you know, for her business, that relationship marketing has been more impactful than a huge advertising campaign or a marketing blitz, so to speak. So all of those are very good. Is there something, I was on, actually 5-star ACE. I was on their website, and then I was on their Facebook page, I should say, and they have a campaign right now, social media campaign. They are partnering with local restaurants to encourage you to buy local. So my question is can you guys give us some examples of places where you may have worked, whether it's within your social media, whether it's within your relationship marketing, your digital advertising, where you've maybe worked together with someone else to drive business or to drive new customers? That makes sense?
Don't everybody speak at once. Huh? It is important that there is interaction with customers, and one thing that we just got done doing, even though the COVID had an impact on it, there was the big Santa parade that was done in Pontiac, which Genesis Credit Union is always part of and helps sponsor. And that had a lot of changes this year because of not gathering. But one of the things that we do with them is to engage with their audience that has brought us leads, because they're partnering with businesses that are outside our typical marketing area. And one of the other things that we're doing right now, there is a list of restaurants in Milford on our website that we are not charging for, but it's an opportunity for us to at least have a conversation with some of those, and that's working well, because one, they didn't realize we were offering that for free, and it has allowed us to enhance our relationship, and we've gotten some business from that partnership.
That's excellent.
One thing I'll say is that marketing isn't a one size fits all. You can't put all your eggs in one basket and say this is going to work for me, because it may or may not work for you depending on the service or the product that you're offering and the location that you're in, the size of your business. It's scalable, it's relative. All these things factor into what marketing strategy you should be providing to yourself and helping yourself. It's really, if you think about it, it's an investment strategy. It's a way to bring more income into your business. And any financial advisor would tell you, you don't want to just buy one stock. You want to diversify your portfolio, because that's going to get you the largest range and the better and the biggest return that you can possibly get. And that's why it's important to understand your target audience, your product offering, your services that you are providing, and figure out what marketing strategies are going to work for you. And sometimes it's a trial and error. Sometimes it's, I'm going to try, digital advertising or traditional advertising, and seeing how that comes back and measuring it. And then figuring out which one was the best strategy for you. So, and that one is going to be your only way for marketing. You're going to want more than one. You're going to want the promotional products from Sally. You're going to want the more traditional types of advertising from the newspaper and those kinds of outlets. You're going to want the social media from the Facebook, and you're going to want, some digital advertising as well. You're going to want a piece of it all. And it is hard when you're just starting out to have everything right away, but those should be long-term goals. You start out one way, and then you build off of it. You build on your marketing strategy to target a larger audience, to get more leads, more client, more exposure, more awareness of who you are and what your brand is. And so it's important for us as marketers to partner with other marketers in this type of area, because I'm not the expert in promotional products, but I know someone who is.
Yep, I totally agree. Well said.
I agree with all those things too. And, you know, and I knew Sally was really going to hit the relationship marketing stuff, and I can totally agree with all that stuff too. And I just want to say that sometimes you have digital relationships with people, and you can't always work with them face to face, but there are ways to. So if you're a business and you know that a lot of your customers are also maybe have a little home business that they run too, have a post where you say, all right, this is for all my customers to share their business. And that's going to make them excited about their relationship with you, and you providing them with an opportunity to reach your audience helps them be more willing to share you with their audience and that kind of thing. But there's all kinds of opportunities, and it's really just a matter of, like Elizabeth said, thinking real hard about who your target audience is and how you can reach them, and what's the best tools at any given moment.
So we have done some co-branding. As part of our business, we do a lot of school work. And one of their organizations puts on huge trade shows and then regional trade shows. So we've done some co-branding with them so that, when they're giving away a product at their booth, it has both our logo and their logo on it. And it really helps because, they're way high up the food chain. So it really helps my business because I've paid a little bit of money to help fund the product, but now I'm legitimate because of their position in the world. And to Elizabeth's point, I think that you're right. It's an investment strategy, but if you are not measuring in your business, then how do you know? How do you know what's effective, what's not effective? And there's something called the Hawthorne effect, and it's also in the article that Amy's going to share, that anything you measure tends to improve. I'll use the bathroom scale as an example. If you're weighing yourself every morning, you're like, oh, shouldn't have had that second helping. But if you wait and it's every month, well, maybe it's not so great. So whatever your criticals are, whether, it's budget, sales, expenses, you got to be looking at them and you got to be measuring them, because if not, you really don't know what's working for you and what's not.
One of the other things we've all talked about, those issues that we rely on for our business. There are two issues that I have always used and encourage my team that is interacting with businesses and selling revenue are two things. One, we have to ask the business what their sales are in a broad term. Know what typical businesses of their type and genre should spend on marketing and advertising. And then the last thing is to make sure that we're working within that percentage, but also setting expectations in terms of what kind of results somebody can realistically expect. And I'll use the example of somebody having website ads on our website or ads on other websites. people say, well, okay, well, I'm going to get click-throughs, and it's going to click through to my website or click through to a landing page, and I'm going to get 10%. That is not absolutely the case at all. Because the average on a national basis for click-throughs on a website is just a tad over 1%. So if you're getting 1% and you're getting 60,000 views in a month, you're going to get 60 click-through responses. And so then it's your job, once you've engaged, once you've got that customer engaged, to have something that that customer is interested in.
All right, thanks, guys. That was really that's great information. Elizabeth, your it's not a marketing strategy; it's investment strategy. I'm totally using that. I think that's great. Okay, so our second strategy is to get your customers and clients to buy more frequently. That can be a tough one. How do we get our clients, our customers to buy more frequently? What types of marketing strategies are you employing to do that? So anybody can jump in here.
So one big thing to help with that is the subscription services. For me, my type of business, it's like a subscription. I offer a service and it's a monthly service. So on a monthly basis, I'm getting monthly income from my clients. And so if you can find a way to bring that into your business as well, it's just in some way, and create somewhat of a subscription service, that's repeated customers, that's added value, you think about the Netflixes in the world, or Hulu, all those streaming services that are subscription services. And what often happens is people will sign up for these subscriptions and they'll forget that they even did, and they'll either use them or they don't use them. Either way, they're still paying for it, right? Because they forgot, or they don't even know how to get out of their subscription, so they might as well use it, stuff like that. So any way you can find a way to get a subscription type service or product added to your business is probably one of the best ways to have repeated customers.
I can, and I would second what she says, and also, think about your frequency of your marketing efforts. And I know it's hard to find time to focus on that when you're busy, running your business or carrying out the services for your customers. But even just a weekly post on Facebook, if somebody's searching for you, and even if they're searching in Google, Facebook links will come up for your business. And if they click through to it and they see that your last post was 6 months or a year ago, it's going to make them wonder, well, are they even still in business? Are they still open? What's going on? And it just helps to keep yourself top of mind in your customers, keep you in their brains, so to speak, where when they have a need or they see someone else posting that they have a need, they'll think of you because, you've been getting out there in front of their eyes on a regular basis. Another good tool for this is your email marketing programs. And those, you can set up, things far in advance. You can set up things to do responders, auto responders that are fairly low effort for you to help keep yourself top of mind and help build that thinking of, oh yeah, I need to get back over there and get something from them.
So adding on to what Tammy said, our business is quite seasonal, which sounds odd, but Like right now would be a really bad time for me to start promoting golf. It's just not the right season. But on the other hand, we do email marketing. When it is golf season, wow, that's a great. Right now, holiday gifts. So we'll try and find offers, not so much to do a blast, but to target those clients that we know who have generally done this or might be a potential for it, and sending out a holiday catalog. Even if it's a flip catalog, if it's just some specials or offers that we have. And I think it's that touch point. They might say, that's a dumb idea, but we're really thinking about something else. And it's just like Tammy said, keeping in front of the client so that they remember you.
And I think to build off of that, and Tammy's point and Sally's point, is the terms added value come to mind for me. And it's what content marketing is all about. So your email campaigns, your social media posts, it's all about bringing added value. So Sally is the expert in promotional products as a marketer. Her added value on social media posts would be, here's a great hand sanitizer is a great promotional item, and this is why, and putting, continuing to add the value in your content marketing. And that's a great way to stay in front of an audience that you've already done business with, and remind them that you're still here, you're still the expert in this service or this product. And when they do have a need, it should be you who they're going to.
Okay, so third strategy, get your customers and clients to spend more money per transaction. How does that work when people are not walking into our offices per se, or our retail stores? How does that work when so much of what we're doing is digital right now?
Well, I can jump in. I mean, if you're using an email program, to send out regular emails to your customer base, then, you can either push towards, kind of highlighting your higher end products, or you can push towards encouraging people to think about buying more quantity of your items, and maybe point out the reason. Hey, have you, stock up for winter, kind of thing, kind of help them understand why and what helps them to do this. Or, if we're talking about higher ticket items, you can help them understand, well, yes, it's more expensive, but this is why, this is the value of it. And, and it'll last longer, or it'll provide a better, outcome for you. And, email can be a good way to do that, or Facebook, your social media kind of things.
So one of the ways that I've brought this strategy into my own personal business is by, building my own skills and adding additional services that I am able to provide, and in reaching out and looking for other ways to help a customer or a client in their own business. And it could be a one-time type deal or a repeated type deal, like for Google My Business. That's a free profile you can set up on Google. I recommend everybody have their own profile, and it's free. It's not a whole lot to manage, so definitely do that. But one of the ways that about strategy 3 is that I can either manage that for you, or I can help you set that up. And that's, when a client comes to me and says, I want to do Google advertising, I offer that too. I'll say, okay, yeah, we're going to do Google advertising, but I can also help you manage your Google My Business as well, if that's something you want. Or we can do, a one-time setup, and I'll teach you how to manage it. So it's adding that additional service or training for them, where they can manage it on their own. And we're already talking about Google ads. What's an additional $50 for me to train you on Google My Business, and using that platform as well, in addition to what we're already doing. And if you want, I can manage it for you. If that's not something you want to do, or you don't have time for, I can do it for you. So bringing, just increasing your skills, increasing your services and stuff that you can add and have a conversation about, and just offering it. That's going to help a lot for this particular strategy.
So we try to help people with a good, better, best scenario. So a lot of times a client has really no idea. I'll get the question, how much is a pen? I don't know. How much is a car? I mean, do you want a Kia, or are you looking at a Cadillac? So we really try and help them and say, okay, what is your budget? Where do you want to go with this? Little plastic pen. Is this a gift? Probably not. It's a 40-cent trade show pen. But, maybe we can help you out with something a little nicer than that. Oh, and getting something in a plastic bag, not so nice either. Maybe we'll just be able to package it for you in a velvet sleeve. We offer a lot of add-on services, so that once the client's decided, yeah, this is what I want to do, maybe they're ordering apparel. Do you need it sorted out? You want it sorted for each person who's going to get it? Or is it something you want to take your time to do? So quite often they'll stop and say, you know what, that is a really great. So it's just taking that sale you already had and moving it up the ladder, and adding value for your client. Jim, I think you're next.
It's hard for me to add anything to that. I think those are all just very good points, and I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. Those are all well points.
Okay, well, I knew you guys were all very, very smart. I didn't know you were all marketing geniuses. This is awesome. Okay, so our last strategy is keep your customers longer. I want you to talk, in those general terms, but is there something specific that you're doing this holiday season to maybe show your appreciation, or maybe I don't know, something that is if there's a program that you're doing personally to, because 2020 has been so fantastic. Is there something that you are doing? So keep your customers longer. What do you think about that?
I'm all over this, actually. I thought about this. I'm ready for it. I'm good. I'm giving my clients back $100 this month. And I'm giving them the option. They can either apply it to their Google Ads budget, so they'll have an additional $100 on their Google Ads budget, which they didn't before, or they just save themselves $100. So it'll be $100 off of my service, right? The reason that I'm giving them the option to add it to their Google Ads budget is because if they see that an additional $100 makes the difference for them, then they go, okay, that was actually helpful. That was actually good. Like, I see now why, an extra $100 a month is really gonna take this to the next level, this type of advertising to the next level. So while I'm giving them the option, I am encouraging and recommending that they do take that $100 that they're getting back and they're applying it to their Google Ads budget. And it really is a show of appreciation that you're doing business with me. The $100 that I'm giving back to them is really not that much for me, but it is a lot to them. So that's my way of showing my appreciation for them and showing them that I love doing business with them, and I want them to continue to be my customers. And I want to show them that a little bit of more money might just get you a little bit more as well back.
Well, and I would point back to Elizabeth's earlier point about added value. I think if you are, developing your relationship, as Sally has pointed out, and providing value to your customer, and you can, continue to do that and stay top of mind, that's really going to help you. And I think the other thought that I have on this is evolving with the times. So, there was a day when you could just open your door and put up an open sign and people would wander in because, why not? Let's check it out. But, today it takes a little more than that. And tomorrow there'll be newer tools and newer ways. And your competitors are going to find those ways to reach out to your customers. And so you need to be there too, so that you can be maintaining your relationship as things evolve in our society.
So I guess I would encourage everyone to know, who are your best clients? I mean, that sounds, of course you know who your best clients are, but are you really sure? So we all need to know who our best clients are. Develop that top 100 list, that top 20 list, whatever it is. Those are the people who are really contributing to your business, and make sure that you focus on thanking them. Whatever you want to do, however you thank them. I did Thanksgiving cards this year. It's been a hard year. And I don't want to get all sappy about this, but you know what? I got Thanksgiving cards, 2 different, traditional and what's for dinner. And I spent a lot of time sitting down. I hand addressed them, and I wrote a note to those people and said, I appreciate you. They have choices. Everybody has choices on where they're going to spend their money. And I appreciate the fact that you are part of my network, that you're a great client. One is a designer who is always so helpful to me when I need, can you help me? Do you have this piece of art, etc.? Just sending something and saying, you know what, I appreciate you. And at the beginning of the quarantine, I made phone calls to a lot of my clients. I found they were home. They answered their phone and said, how are you? And so many of them said, I don't have any work. And I said, I understand. I don't have any work either, but I want to know, how are you? How are things? Is there something I can do to help you? So I think knowing who they are, making sure that you are focusing on them and that you let them know how much you appreciate them, really goes a long way in keeping a client. Then you make a mistake, all right, own up to it, but you have a relationship with them and they're much more likely to say, forget it, let's move on.
How do you, I'll jump in here. How do you keep them? I think, if I recall, that's the question. You have to, like Sally said, you have to stay in contact with them. Just checking up might be, and Sally does this with me too. She checks up with me. How are you doing? Any new employees? How do they need any, branding apparel or whatever it is? And I gotta say, sometimes that motivates me to say, you know what, I could use this or I could use that. And customers may say to us, well, I'm going to stop for now. And we say, okay, but I'm here. But you give it a couple weeks and you go back and you offer them something that may trigger their interest. Even in my case, if it's dropping off a copy of the paper or sending our monthly digital dashboard reports. We did that last month, and somebody actually called us back and said, wow, your audiences have grown like 20% over the past 3 months. And I said, yes, they have. We've got somebody focused on that. We have engaged more customers and expanded the combination of their digital and print. And it's just sending those people and making sure that we're continued top of mind, just the way businesses do that with their customers or potential customers.
Okay, so I want to open it up to some questions. Does anyone have some questions they would like to ask our panel? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question. Or if you have a comment, we'll accept those too.
I wanted to ask something. Hi, everyone. I know how important it is to have your families. I don't really have customers. We have families that we serve. Respond with positive reviews. So I was wondering, I know that that's a really great way to broaden your audience, and I'm wondering if anyone has any good advice to getting more positive reviews.
So this is what I was talking about with Google My Business. If you don't have one, definitely get one. And then if you do have Google My Business and you do business with clients or customers or whatever, send them an email and link your review right there. And if it was a positive experience for them, you know, definitely reach out to them and say, I'm glad things went well for you. How is your product? How was your service? Let us know. Tell us. We want to hear from you. We want your feedback. Anything you can provide is definitely beneficial for us, so that we can and make it about them. Definitely make it about them and why you want their feedback back and why they should spend 5 minutes to review your product or service. That's one of the best ways, and definitely make it easy for them. Don't make them go on a goose hunt on the internet to find you. Show them exactly where you are and how they can give you that positive review. And hopefully it was a positive experience and that they will be leaving a positive review. The negative people are going to find you. Whether you give it to them or not, they're going to find you and they're going to put it out there. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it, but to just—
Except bury it. Except get enough positive stuff so you bury it. Yeah.
Exactly. The more, definitely. And that, well, to your point, it does help you rank higher on Google searches. If you are doing a really good Google My Business strategy and you really are honing in on that and managing it very well, it can help you rank higher and beat out your competition. So I would definitely be getting reviews back from customers, from clients about your services, because it will help you in the long run.
That's a great idea to have it right in the link, because we often ask, review us on Facebook or Google or, like we're everywhere, but that's in a conversation, so I'm hearing what you're saying. And I think putting that link right in there is positive, especially when their children are in, with a therapist. So they're waiting, they're probably sitting in their car waiting.
You could even put the link, right in your signature of your email and just say, review us here, and that can be your texted link. And so it's always there every time you email them or anything, it's always there. But you do also want to reach out to them directly and say, we want to hear from you. What is your experience with us? And then put that link right in that kind of an email as well, or social media. However your strategy is to reach out to your clients. And it's definitely, I mean, it's one thing to be in conversation with them, like in person, and say, hey, I want you to review me or give me your feedback. That's, for me, I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but then I forget, the link's not in front of me, and I say I'm gonna do it, and I just don't. I know I should. I forget, I just don't. So I just don't. So it's better to have that email and to have that link ready for them and making it easier for them, because I'm more likely to do a review if I don't have to do the work.
Well, and just so that you know too, on our Facebook page, we have a great video by Elizabeth of how to create your own Google My Business account. So it is a free account, but this is part of Elizabeth's job too. This is part of her business. So questions with that, and supporting that as well as advertising, I'll give you a little plug there, Elizabeth. Please call Elizabeth for sure. Any other questions or comments?
If I could real quick, I know I second everything Elizabeth said, but I would point out that, Google reviews are great for getting traffic to your website. But also don't forget to make sure that they review you on Facebook as well, because that is a social connection. So if I go to a page and I see that my friend has rated this business highly, then it's going to mean a lot more to me than some random stranger or anonymous source that I don't know. And also in Facebook groups, this is a phenomenal way, to get, it's even more powerful. If somebody takes the time, one of your customer takes the time to go into a Facebook group and say, I just had a great experience with this business. They really helped me. I had a huge problem and they took care of me and everything was great and it was a great value. So if you know which customers are totally loving what you're offering, and you can suggest to them, it's acceptable in this day and age to suggest to somebody to say, hey, if you had a great experience today, would you mind sharing that on social media or Google? Either way, and it's very powerful.
And I would also say, I get a lot of offers from my vendors, and it's all right. So I love the vendor, but like Elizabeth said, it's time, it's I gotta, there are offers for free gifts, there are offers for discounts on your next order, gift cards, all of those things that kind of make us go, all right, maybe I'll take a gift card if I have to do it. And you can tie those to other small local businesses. It doesn't have to be a Visa card. Or maybe it's, a free tote bag or an evaluation, just something that says, I'm going to get something if I do this, rather than, like when you travel, every hotel you ever went to, review us, review us, review us. You get back from vacation, you got 20 people asking for a review. So a little bit of incentive might go a long way to getting people to do it.
I just wanted to say that I thought it was great. I mean, what I do is a little bit on the struggle bus right now, because like 99.9% of what I do are service related, which are like all shut down right now. So, we are trying to get creative with some at-home options. Kids don't want to do more stuff on the computer because they're on the computer all day. So virtual programming has not been well received by our community. And we are like literally daily adding more hours at pools and fitness so that people that can't participate in organized sports can come and do that. But like last week we had one guy out with COVID, one who thought she had COVID, and then one person quit because she couldn't handle the craziness of it. So so then we just go backwards with our hours and stuff, you know, and everything. But so I think what you guys shared was great and wonderful, and we are trying to get creative. Like I said, the at-home stuff definitely is not going to pay the bills for our department, but people, I mean, both the candy cane hunt at home and the cookie decorating both sold out. So that's awesome. And, but no, I totally agree. And when I've been in other businesses that are not controlled and run through a school district, then, you know, I've done a lot of the things that you guys have said when times get a little unique and everything like that. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your knowledge and examples and ideas and stuff too.
So Amy, one more thing I want to mention before we all go. Most of you know me, and so, you know, I am a bit of a learning junkie. I'll admit it. You know, it's a seminar, it's a podcast, it's a whatever. I try to be a learner, and learning is great, but implementing is the key to it. I mean, I can watch videos all day long on how to do yoga, but if I never do it, then I've wasted my time. So pick something, pick a thing and run with it. It's overwhelming if you say, I'm going to hit all 4 strategies and I'm going to try 18 techniques all at once. But if you pick something and implement it, then you're better off than you are today.
Yeah, I would piggyback off of that, Sally. That was a really great point. I wouldn't focus on all 4 strategies because it is overwhelming and you'll just kind of get lost in the mix of where should I go, what should I do, which one is going to be most beneficial to me. But I would definitely pick one as an action item after today and focus on it and hone in on it. And really, you know, take the action steps, make goals, have them be measurable goals, and then see where you are, see where that took you in the next 3 months, and then revisit it and do it all over again. That's definitely a takeaway that I should have for myself here after today as well.
I would also go ahead. I'm sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
Well, I just had a really quick question. So you guys talk about kind of like Shannon, you know, you guys, everyone who's on this call knows who I am, but we, you know, I don't sell product. I need people's time and I need their energy and I need their engagement. So I am going to take these strategies and then twist it for that. But my one question is the email blasts. I personally, you know, I get the HWLBAs on Monday. I get the chamber on Monday. I get a couple other organizations on Monday. You know, we have a constant contact, but it's not, we don't use it as much. It's more of like a monthly before our board meeting. But is there like a date or time that you guys get more results with? Because my open rates, I mean, they claim it's good, but I'm about 7%. And everyone who's on ours, we had like sent out a membership drive and said like, do you want to be involved with the information? So it's like, we were asking, it wasn't just like blindly sending it to people, but I'm not getting hardly any engagement. My social media is completely buried to the point we're actually focusing on Instagram right now, because we're seeing an uptick in that, and our Facebook is just dead in the water 90% of the time. So you guys have any tips for that kind of thing?
I mean, I would play around with it, Jordan. I would, you know, 1 month I try to send it on this day at this time and see where that gets you. You know, maybe it's a Tuesday evening at 4 o'clock. You know, I would run with that for like a week or two and see if, you know, see what's coming back, see where you're at after that week. And then I would try something else. You know, I would try maybe Thursday at the same time and see if that did better than the other. And you have to do it for a prolonged period of time to get enough data to see if it's actually helping your strategy or not. I don't know if there's a specific time for a specific email that people are opening. It's really hard to answer, especially, you know, I think it depends on the business as well. But I would play around with it. I would try it different ways and see if one way worked better than the other way and find which one was better. Definitely call to actions at the top of the email. People don't want to read down all the way to the email, the bottom of the email. So you want your call to action to be at the top. Maybe it's an event you're promoting, or maybe it's just informational. if there is a call to action, you want it to be near the top, and you want it to be throughout. So at the top, in the middle, and then also somewhere at the bottom. So when they do read through it, there's different places to click on it. I would definitely try that as well.
The other
So
thing I
you
would
all
suggest,
might not,
Jordan.
you
I'm sorry,
all
go
might
ahead.
not know this, but Elizabeth has a math degree. So I think she's completely right. It's data points. It's not saying, I think this gets open better. It's measuring, going back and measuring and saying, who's opening it? When are they opening it? And you can't have a week's worth of data. You can't have a month's worth of data. It takes a while to track people's behavior and what's going to work best for you. But it's all about that tracking piece and knowing that you are measuring what's going on.
And I would also say, make sure your content is such that people aren't reading books. They want something that's really, you know me, I'm reading books, but they don't want to read a book. It needs to be short and sweet. Graphics, videos, those tend to be well received. My open rate is about, in my members, it's about 33%. In my, just these are people I've cobbled together, it's like 17 to 20%. Admittedly, during COVID, it's been a little bit higher than norm. But there's a lot of noise. There's just a lot of noise right now. So I do feel like it's harder to get noticed. I agree with you. My Facebook is not getting the same kind of play. Even my videos were doing better. When Marvin was here, Marvin would be like, Amy, do videos, Amy, do videos. So I started doing videos. I don't love seeing myself on Facebook, but I did start doing videos. And maybe that is something that would maybe cut through as well. But I do think your Instagram idea is, and maybe that's where you hit the kids more as opposed to mom book,
Yeah, that's really, Amy's right about that. It's about knowing who your audience is, what age groups are they in, and hitting them where they're at. Our generation is probably the Facebook users. The people younger than us are using Twitter or Instagram. So knowing the difference between that is going to help you in your marketing strategy. I don't read long emails. I just don't. Don't bother sending them to me because I won't read them. I'm looking for the video. I'm looking for the bullet points information. I'm looking for I'm scanning it. And looking for what the piece of information I need. That's what I'm doing. So I think that a lot of other people are doing that as well. Nobody reads an article word for word. They're looking for the bits and pieces that is most beneficial for them. And so if we can digest that, a lot of people are doing what they call like micro bits of information. They're not these long drawn out emails. They're just little snippets of the information you want to get out, and maybe doing it more frequently, like smaller sections of information more frequently might be the difference that you're looking for.
Thanks, everyone. This is really, really helpful. Sorry to keep cutting my video out. I have a crawling 6-month-old that I'm trying to contain. But no, I think this is all really, really helpful. And you guys gave me some things to look forward to and some reassurance. So I just checked really quick. My click-through rate's about 36%. So now I don't feel like I'm terrible. So this actually made me feel better. So thank you, everyone, for all of your help. And I will for sure be in touch with all of you with further questions.
Jordan, I just wanted to say also is your header, what are you putting in the header to actually captivate someone to open? That is another piece. If it doesn't sound like the same thing over and over again, I already know what they do. I already know who they are. If you want to captivate them, it might be something you change. Oh, something you change in your header. that would be another thing to test. I just want to thank you all for all this great information. It's practice, practice, practice. As the data inputs, as the conversation that Sally and Elizabeth have said, is tracking your data and then pivoting to where you need to go. I have to say, for our families, it's word of mouth that travels more rapid fire than anything else that I can do, even though I do all pieces of everything that you all have suggested. I personally had tried to come up with how do I reward that word of mouth that actually turns into a referral, and that referral then actually comes to the school. So I do some different things, but one has been very successful is I give the parent that enrolls along with their referral, a gift from one of our restaurants, a $50 gift card from Sparky's usually is where I go, because he's been always a huge supporter for us in our fundraising. And we give a $50 gift card to the parent and to the referral. So that's another way to reward those ones that are referring you. For our business, it's a little different because, this is a long-term product, that the client is the parent, and the parent's child comes to our school for a long period of time. So that's another thing to think of is, how do you reward the person who's actually giving you good word of mouth? They would do it probably without it, but also it's a great way to say, hey, and that pays it forward. Mention that to someone else. If you do refer them, then you'll get this great gift card, and it's another word of mouth to the service that you give. So that's my suggestion.
Amy, I know we're going to need to wrap up. Can we talk about the ghost of Christmas past? Or
Yes, we can.
Okay.
One more comment I want to make to you too is many of our members right now are getting very creative with their marketing. If you don't have the funds to put an idea out there, but they did something similar, try it out. Right now, 5 Star is doing a little program with local restaurants. If you bring your receipt in, they will, go in, see what it's all about, see how it's working. Oh yeah, and purchase something from one of our local restaurants, right? But that's also a really good way to see, is this something that seems viable to you? Are they spending a ton of money on it? Pick their brain. It can't hurt you to get more information before maybe you go out and take on something of that magnitude. Okay, so Sally wants me to tell you about the ghost of Christmas past. One of my favorite Christmas things in the world is the Christmas Carol. And so we were talking, and Sally had this crazy idea that she wanted to help the Red Box campaign. As you know, Red Box, we've been doing this for years. I've been handing out red boxes. We've had multiple people help us with this program, and we collect food. We collect toiletries, baby needs throughout the holiday season, and then we donate those to the Goodfellows program in Highland, to community sharing, and then also to Open Door in White Lake. Well, this year is different. Many of the places that we would normally be collecting this food from are not open to the public. Places like our libraries, the bank, none of our bank lobbies are open right now. And so my group of boxes just kind of went from, big to like nothing. So sitting in a board meeting, we talked about doing donation buckets. And so those have been spread out to almost 20 places, I think now. But we're not sure that that's going to be as impactful as it has in the past. I mean, we are talking about, we have given sometimes up to 2,000 pounds of food and toiletries and baby products. And so we tried to figure out, what could we do? So we're doing these donation buckets, and Sally said, I don't think it's enough. I think we need to do more. And so she created this scheme to talk all of our past presidents into donating their hard-earned money to match whatever we raise. Now, Sally, you don't know this yet, but I thought I would tell you. So far, we've raised in cash alone, without looking at any of the buckets, $500. So that's, so our past presidents have chipped in $1,100. And so what we've said is they will contribute 10% for every dollar that we give. So what does that mean? It means we do like $10,000 worth of donations. And so here's my ask today. Would you make a donation? Maybe your business would like to make a donation. You can go directly to community sharing, directly to Goodfellows, or directly to Open Door. Those are all 501c3s. Your donation would then be tax deductible. The only thing I ask is that you put red box in the memo line, or just tell me that you've made that donation, and we will keep track. And then we're going to make our past presidents pay. It's so nice. And here's a really funny one. I went over to see Bob Miller because I thought he was a past president, not a past president. But he was like, I think I was only treasurer, Amy. He goes, but you know what? I don't care. Here's a check. So Bob's on board. Let's maybe everybody else get on board. And you all should have received an email. If you didn't receive the email, let me know. I'd be happy to resend it to you. But it gives you all the different organizations, how you can donate online, how you can donate if you want to make a check or cash donation to them, as well as the opportunity to donate through us. We, however, are not a 501c3. So if that tax deduction is important to you, I would suggest you go directly to the charity. But we really just want to kill it this year. So I think I know that community sharing has been a bit overrun. I know that Open Door has been a bit overrun, and I do believe the Goodfellows will be as well. Goodfellows do take care of people at Christmas time, but they also do things like pay utility bills throughout the year. So if you would like to contribute, please call me. Please tell me where you're contributing, because I want to keep track of this. I really want them to pay. That'll teach you to be president. But does that cover it, Sal?
It does, and yeah, Tammy really said this in the meeting. She said a challenge, and quite often I do a lot of my best thinking in the middle of the night or driving down, and I said a challenge. Who can I challenge? I thought the board. All right, well, I can challenge the board, but wait a minute. And then it was reaching out to my contacts, the past presidents, and saying, hey, you want to join me? And they were all like, great, this is a great cause, let's do it. I told Amy, I hate this term. It's called food insecurity. That's just a politically correct way of saying people are hungry. They're hungry. Let's just use the word. There isn't food insecurity. We have hunger, and it's in our community too. So make me pay. We got a bucket of money, and I want to make sure every dime of it gets used.
Wholeheartedly agree, Sally. Wholeheartedly agree. Okay, so that's all I have for you, unless you have another question or a comment. Jordan just asked me a question about formula. Do they take formula? I do believe they take unopened cans of formula, Jordan, and that would be a great thing to donate.
Okay, yeah, I've got 2 cans because we changed hers like 18 times, and I just found 2 more unopened, unexpired cans that I can't do anything with. So
absolutely,
someone who could use it.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for being a part of our Zoom. And if you have questions, what I love about Elizabeth and Sally and Jim and Tammy is they have been incredibly helpful to me. I know they will also be incredibly helpful to you. So if you have questions, you have concerns, you just want them to expound on something that they talked about, I'm sure they would be happy to talk to you and to give you what insight that they can. Thank you again for coming today. This is the end, so I just want to do a quick thank you to my sponsors. I have 3 platinum, count them, 3 platinum sponsors now. We have Huron Valley State Bank, we have Marco's Pizza, and Woda. All 3 have come in and sponsored us, which is, during COVID, I couldn't ask for anything more. This has been a challenge for our organization, so to have 3 sponsors is beyond. We have our gold sponsors, Detroit Business Graphics. We have Spinal Column Newspapers. We have Woda just jumped up, so they're going to be up there. And then we have RAM Insurance and Financial Services. Our silver sponsors are Huron Valley Community Coalition. Jordan is here with us. We also have Huron Valley Pools and Fitness, Rec and Ed. Shannon was here with us, and Shannon, I did sign up for cookies, as well as the neighborhoods of White Lake. The neighborhoods of White Lake are doing some cool things, so make sure you're checking on their Facebook. Lots of freebies this year. As well as Chris Hamill, she's our CPA, Kildall Services, who's our QuickBooks expert, and a brand new guy come back in. Chris Baker is now one of our silver sponsors. And then last but not least, we have our bronze sponsors. They have been with us for several years now. We have Building Blocks Preschool. Suzanne's with us today, and a past president. We have Sally Brush, Custom Plus, past president as well, and Lavasser Dental. And we're very excited about all of these, not only new sponsors, but our renewing sponsors. That has been very exciting. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming today. And I will have this recording up hopefully soon. And I will talk to you later. If you have questions, please just let me, know, and I'm happy to direct you to the right person. So have a wonderful day, and keep marketing in COVID. See you later.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks to all of you. I learned a lot.